Okay, my name is Thao Vu, and I work at Mercy Housing Human Development, a nonprofit organization based in Gulfport, Mississippi. And I'm also a part of a Mississippi Coalition for Vietnamese American Fish Folks and Families. I'm also a member of the STEPS Coalition, board member for STEPS Coalition, a part of the Gulf Coast Fund. I wear various hats, and one of the hats I wear is so I do advocacy work. I'm an advocate for particularly the underserved, marginalized, lower income folks, who need a great deal of assistance, but maybe their needs haven't been met. There are not adequate resources or policy or haven't been designed to really truly help them with their needs. I've been working with, particularly with the Vietnamese community here, and for going on 6 years post Hurricane Katrina. And the oil disaster particularly has really greatly impacted, I think, the whole entire Gulf Coast region, but particularly for those whose livelihood is very dependent, on the water and the sustainability and the health of the waters out there in the Gulf of Mexico. And I'm particularly referring to Vietnamese fishers, right? And since the oil disaster, one of the greatest concerns is their livelihood. How sustainable is their livelihood, right? What is the longer term impact? And since the disaster, they've been really devastated and suffering, right? They can't return to their livelihood, because of the closed waters and all that stuff, and all these challenges they're facing. So they've been trying to get claims from Kenneth Feinberg and what is known as the Gulf Coast Claims Facility GCCF process. There's been a great deal of challenges with that because sometimes, a lot of the folks that I work with, they have a limited education because when they arrive and settle here in the U.S. as refugees and immigrants, they have to immediately begin to work to provide and support their families. They didn't get an opportunity to obtain a higher education. So we have a significant population with limited English proficiency. And so many of them need application assistance, interpretation, translation. And the problem is when the disaster struck and they needed some kind of financial compensation, immediately, to pay for their the vessel notes, the insurance, and all the fees, docking fees, and all the fixed expenses they had to go to these local Gulf Coast claims facilities for application assistance and language assistance, but the lines were very long, there were inconsistent standards, there was poor interpretation sometimes, ripe with errors and mistakes, right? And they've been very upset with how the whole emergency, claims process was set up. They're saying it was very unfair, they're getting paid pennies on the dollar, or their form has been denied, the claims has been denied or dragged out too long. And now that that phase is over, they're focusing now on the interim, right? And they're concerned about, well, if they had a bad experience with the emergency, there's a possibility it'd be a bad experience with the second round of interim payments, right? In the future, the final settlement and in terms of livelihood issues, like for this year. This shrimp, for example, for a shrimper, normally they might start harvesting again in late May, June, right? Well, they're concerned. How much shrimp is left out there? The number, the size, is it dwindling, right? How viable is it anymore, right? And what about market share and the branding and the price and all of that, right? So there's a great deal of uncertainty. But in the meantime, they can only try to get some kind of claims to pay for their monthly bills and expenses and then still wait, and have to wait and decide what happens the next couple months, several months, and then in the future. And so that's been a top priority issue for the Vietnamese fishers here, is that their immediate shorter term is how do they get some kind of fair compensation from Kenneth Feinberg and the GCCF fund, right? The longer issue they have, long-term issue they have, concern is sustainability, working out there, how sustainable is it? Could they continue to shrimp, or catch oysters or crab the next 2 or several years from now, right? And they try to weigh that out, and sometimes the immediate needs or trying to be weighed against the more midterm and long-term goals and stuff like that. So those are some of the challenges the Vietnamese community is facing right down here, right now.